This is a fictional story. This is taken from the reconstruction of FDR, ATC, and CVR.
Investigations showed that there were firecrackers under the flight attendants' seats. CaptainEvans50s.com, experienced and First Officer Chun 30s, alert, professional, are in their seats, going through final checklists. The cockpit is a hive of focused activity.
APG 632, cleared for push.
The plane begins to move. A slow, powerful rumble as it's pushed backward by a tug. The windows show the ground receding. Some passengers glance out, others are absorbed in their phones. The plane taxis along the tarmac. The engine's sound changes. A more distinct roar as the tug disconnects. Chloe walks down the aisle, offering a reassuring smile. Leo watches the ground crew disappear. The plane is lined up at the edge of the runway. The engines spool up, a deep growl that vibrates through the cabin. Seatbelt signs are illuminated. Chloe gives a final safety demonstration, her voice clear and practiced over the engine noise. Captain Evans' hands are steady on the yoke. First Officer Chun calls out readings.
Airspeed climbing. 50, 60, V1, rotate.
Throttle.
The plane is now airborne, climbing steadily. The seatbelt sign is turned off. A sense of relaxed normalcy settles in. Chloe starts her service, pushing a trolley. Leo has his nose pressed to the window, mesmerized by the vast expanse of blue. The airliner lifts off, a majestic ascent into the clear blue sky. Leo, bored, drops his toy car. It rolls away from him, disappearing under a row of unoccupied jump seats near the rear galley. He cranes his neck, trying to see.
Come on. He lives from the east. He's right out. He is submitting not his car, submitting red.
A faint, acrid smell begins to permeate the cabin. At first, it's almost imperceptible, masked by the usual aircraft air. Chloe, passing near the rear galley, pauses for a moment, sniffing the air. Her brow furrows slightly.
What is that smell?
Sound of the engines, still steady, but now there's a subtle, new electronic whine beneath it. The smell seems to be growing. A few other passengers look around, confused.
This fire warning. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Squawk 77, squawk 77.
Explain what happened to you.
They help there is a bomb exploding here.
The plane is suddenly burst into flames.
Ray, if it's an emergency, you can land in the water.
Suddenly, a bright flash erupts from beneath the jump seats in the very rear, near where Leo had been looking. It's followed by a deep, guttural boom that rattles the entire aircraft. The acrid smell is undeniable now. It's the unmistakable odor of an electronic fire. Sharp and biting. Passengers are starting to look concerned. Chloe is moving quickly towards the rear, trying to pinpoint the source. The cockpit is rocked by the impact. Alarms blare, warning lights flash red.
Mayday, Mayday, we have a massive explosion in the rear. Structural integrity compromised.
Losing altitude. Losing control. What the hell was that?
Miles away, a smaller private jet is cruising. Inside, the pilot and co-pilot are casually chatting. The aircraft pitches violently. The roaring of the engines is now a desperate, uneven sound. Captain Evans is fighting a losing battle. The controls are sluggish, unresponsive.
Mayday. Mayday, Archipelago 632 is going down. We are going around.
Requesting immediate vectors for landing plane is in a terrifying descent. The remaining passengers are strapped in, some praying, some weeping. The rear section is a mangled wreck. Chloe is trying to comfort a terrified child. The aircraft spins violently. The horizon tilts crazily. The plane begins to nosedive. The pull of gravity is immense.
We're spinning. I can't correct it. Brace for impact.
The commercial airliner, a broken metal bird, plummets towards the ocean. It hits the water with a cataclysmic impact, sending a massive spray of water into the air. Debris scatters across the surface. The plane is now flying upside down. Loose objects, passengers who weren't secured, are being hurled against the ceiling. Screams are choked off by the jeep. Leo is miraculously still strapped in, his eyes squeezed shut, his parent holding him tight. The world is a terrifying, inverted blur. Sound of the impact, then silence, save for the gentle lapping of waves.
Archipelago 631, did you hear and read it? Do you copy?
The plane has disappeared from radar.
At your emergency?
I saw the plane emitting fire and smoke.
I heard that rain pull-up alarm, and it disappeared. Also heard a huge explosion.
A vast expanse of blue water under a clear sky, the same weather that watched the disaster unfold. Now, it's dotted with Coast Guard vessels, Navy ships, and smaller search and rescue craft. Helicopters circle overhead, their rotors cutting through the air. Commander Reyes 50s, stoic, burdened, stands at the window, scanning the water. A crew member approaches, holding a clipboard.
We've located the main debris fields about 12 miles from last radar contact.
Any seconds of survivors. Debris is scattered. Luggage, paneling, personal items. Divers in bright orange gear plunge into the water. One surface holding a man good piece of the plane's gear fuselage. Charret twisted metal with scorch marks visible.
A forensic investigator 30s focused photographs it carefully as it's lifted onto the deck. She points to a dark residue along the edge.
This isn't fuel burn. Smell that. Electrical fire residue. just like we thought.
White walls, banks of screens, the hum of servers. Lead investigator Maria Flores Fortis, sharp, meticulous stands before a large display showing the flight data recorder F readouts. Her team gathers around as she points to a series of spikes on the graph.
Look here, 30 seconds before the explosion. We see abnormal power fluctuations in the rear auxiliary power unit then. This,
A red line shoots off the chart.
a massive surge, then total failure of all systems in the rear section. Whatever caused this wasn't accidental.
Sarah, the ATC controller from C-19, sits with investigators, replaying the final transmissions.
They reported an explosion, then lost control immediately. There was no more warning. 1 minute, they were flying normal. The next,
Nothing! She pauses, her voice quiet.
I've been doing this for 15 years. I've never heard fear like that in a pilot's voice.
Detective Miller and Maria listen to the cockpit voice recorder CVR playback through headphones. The room is silent, save for the audio.
Mayday Archipelago 632 is going down.
Miller removes his headphones, his jaw set.
We already did. One passenger, David Morrison, was a maintenance technician who was fired from Archipelago 6 months ago for tampering with equipment. He was seated in the rear row, just feet from where the explosion originated.
A wall covered in photos. The plane, debris, David Morrison's face. Schematics of the rear electrical system.
Morrison bought components online. Parts that could be modified to create a power surge. Security footage from the airport shows him lingering near the rear service door before boarding.
He had a grudge. Lost his job after an audit found he'd been cutting corners on safety checks. He wanted to make them pay.
A team member enters with a folder.
We found his laptop in the debris. Encrypted files. We cracked them. He left a manifesto. Said he wanted the world to know what carelessness looks like. We take full responsibility. We have already implemented new security protocols, increased screening for all personnel with aircraft access, and are working with investigators to ensure this never happens to anyone, ever again.
A new memorial stands, a polished stone monument with the names of all 68 people who lost their lives on Archipelago. Family members lay flowers at its base. Leo, now a little older, stands with his parent, placing a toy car, the same one he dropped on the plane, at the foot of the stone.
We fly to connect with family, with friends, with opportunities across the world. That connection is a gift we must protect. Anger and revenge only destroy what we hold dear. But vigilance, responsibility, and care for one another, those are the things that keep us safe. Every life lost reminds us that safety is not just a protocol. It's a promise we make to each other every single time we take to the sky.
We have to be careful and check whether there is something hidden or not.